What's going on, everybody? How you doing? Welcome back. What's going on, Ernest, S. Taylor, Sabine, Righteous One, Shay, Tawana, Casual Economist, those that have joined us at GovCon Tech, or is it GovTech? I always want to say GovCon Giants because that's the crew I usually be rolling with. Hope y'all enjoyed your Christmas. Hope you have a good New Year's. I'm looking for something too. What's going on, Leith? That's final product. I'm looking for what I was doing at the conference. That's what I'm looking for. I had a whole um a whole workshop prepared for the conference, and then I just decided to do something else. So those that attended uh the workshop at Simone B's conference, I actually had something else for you all, but the mock interviews worked out just fine as well too. So, all right. So today is going to be a little different. I decided today just to do some Q&A. But I also going to interject my thoughts on things and where things are going and whatever or the case may be and so forth. All right, so I'm getting logged into a couple of things. And I wanted to, let me pull that up too. I also wanted to answer people questions that hit me up on LinkedIn as well too. I wanted to get to those. It just makes it easier for me to answer all the questions because they're pretty similar, all in one swoop, and not have to individually answer everybody. So I could just do it all in one big swoop. And we could set up one-on-one sessions after this, so that way we don't have to go through all the other stuff. All right, pull this up, and I want to pull up one more document. Mm, 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 mm. I think this works. Yeah, this works. All right, cool. All right, let's start here. Oops. Share screen. Okay, so and they look a little small. All right, we're gonna go there. Okay, so a lot of people always ask this question. Let me take my glasses off. So, um, I'm just going with the first question that I get all the time, and then I'll segue into other stuff. All right, so I'm reading from my LinkedIn for context, and the question goes. I'm not going to mention your names. I'm just going to answer your questions. So the first question goes, "Hi Tameika, I am an information systems cyber second college degree student with the opportunity to take and pass the Red Hat certification exam, the EX200. Uh, by the way, now and 24, 25. What's my expert opinion on the study, the date, on how to daily study to pass the first time? All right, the answer to that question is really go through and read Red Hat's documentation. So let's go. I'm gonna answer this. All right. So redhat.com, and I should just put Red Hat documentation. Right. So there's a couple of things. One, you can follow Sander Van Goot's class, which you can find on O'Reilly or Pearson. You can individually buy that for the RECSA and the RECE. Or you can sign up for Safari and do the classes, get his classes through Safari. But not only that, it gives you access to other things. I've heard that you can go through different your different libraries, and you can get those classes as well too, right? So first things first, you say, how do I study? Which means to me that you either haven't taken the time to set up your own lab. So in order to do that, you can download VirtualBox. I even think VMware is offering VMware Fusion and Workstation for free now. So you can download those, install them on your Mac or your Windows laptop. Start creating VMs. You can come here to Red Hat's website. Red Hat allows you to sign up for free accounts. Watch this, back it up. You get an account, it's free. But they give you a developer's account, which gives you 15 subscriptions, which means you can register your VMs that are on your box to Red Hat, and you could get your updates and so forth and so on. So you could use Red Hat virtualization to study. You could use VMware to study. You could use VMware Fusion to study. You could use VirtualBox. The goal is you need to get hands-on experience. You need to get used to setting these things up, logging in, playing with them, so forth and so on. All right. The next thing I'm going to tell you, like I tell everybody else, how I learned. Reading is fundamental, and people keep thinking I'm like joking, but people can't read and won't read, right? So why do I'm going down this? I'm just I'm just look reading stats, black community, whatever. It'll probably come up with general population here. All right. Only 12% of black males are proficient in reading at the 8th grade level. In 2019, 6% of black males were reading at a proficient level, and only 1% were reading at an advanced level. In 2019, 23% of black adults were considered to be low literacy. And then they got the national average here, right? In the fall of, skip down here, in Montgomery Public Schools, in fall of 2023, 38.5% of Black or African American students were below the reading benchmark. I am telling you to read. I am telling you that reading is going to get you a whole lot further than you sitting up here trying to ask me questions. And here's why. So on Red Hat documentation, right? If you come over here to Red Hat documentation, and you could get an account, right? And it looks big enough on the screen. Okay, so if you hit Red Hat Enterprise Linux, they have what they call release notes, and they also have system administration, right? They tell you right here. Let me blow it up some. They got release notes, planning, installing Red Hat, how to install Red Hat, upgrading and converting Rail, system administration, configuring the basics, printers, the whole nine. They've got it broken down, the whole nine. Security, networking, identity management, so forth and so on. What I'm telling you is a lot of things that you're going to find for the exam. Really, what Sanders covers is the exam, but the information that he's covering, it's also in the documentation. And I can't tell you how many times, and this just a true story, I have embarrassed coworkers because they don't know Linux and they won't read the documentation and they won't go do the basics. Reading Red Hat's documentation is the fundamental and it's the basics. You say, Tamika, where do I start? Get a Red Hat account. That's number one. Number two, once you sign in for the Red Hat account, pick out, I don't know if you're on a Linux box, I mean on a Windows box, or if you're on a Linux laptop, or if you're on um a Mac or what have you. Find whatever virtualization tool you're going to use. Remember now, type 2 virtualization, VMware, VirtualBox, uh virtualization with Linux. I don't pick one. Hey, even pick one in the cloud if you want to. You get up to what, 200 $300 for free. Go there if you want to. You can do that too. Once you start doing that, understand the labs. If you can't, if you don't read and do the labs, you won't pass. Now, the trick is, what in the world am I doing this for? What in the world am I doing this for? Okay, you have to understand, and I think this is where the disconnect a lot of time happens, is that you'll say, I created a user account, but now what do I do next? Well, you create a username and a password so somebody can log into the system. You are providing security on the Linux box, or securing the Linux box so people won't hack the Linux box, or they won't hack the actual applications running on the Linux box. Like, there is a why as to why you're doing these things, and then there's a how to do it as well too. So I think there's a lot of disconnect when it comes to that. And so in the new year, what I'm more than likely going to do is and I really don't want to, but I see a lot of gaps, is understanding the why of doing something, and why this lends to the next level. All right? So, back over here on our fundamentals here on our career, starting out as a Linux sysadmin, basics, right? But I see a lot of sysadmins are really like a hybrid model. Now, when I say that, most Linux sysadmins that I'm seeing are a combination of, Red Hat Linux, which includes the RHCSA, Ansible, which is the RHCE, how to use the cloud, and the basics of the cloud, meaning you understand how to use AWS, how to use Google, how to use all these other things, right? And you also know how to use automation tools like Terraform. You understand secrets management with Ansible Vault or Vault or something of that nature, or something like that. Like, most Linux sysadmins to me are DevSecOps engineers. All right, you understand Git, you understand GitLab, you understand GitHub, you understand how to check in code, you understand how to make a change, you understand how to do a merge request, you understand the basics. That's me. That's what I think. When you start progressing into the senior side, you'll probably start on the mentoring more to the not the younger adults, but the junior admins that are coming in that don't understand. Like, if I do a rm-rf on slash, that's going to destroy the system. Like, oh, I didn't know I couldn't do that. Right? Those kind of things. Like, some gotcha, some basics, some things you need to know. Right? That's what I see for my senior. Um, and I would expect a senior Linux sysadmin would be able to give a workshop on like the basics of Linux, or how to set up uh LDAP or triple SD, or how to even connect it to an Active Directory machine, how to set up Linux boxes, connect them to Active Directory. That's just me. My staff and my principal, I'm expecting you to make choices as far as design choices on how we're going to set up uh 2000 Linux boxes. How are we going to automate the build out of our clusters or our Linux machines in the cloud and on-prem. I'm expecting a little more of that. And as a junior Linux admin, you'll probably touch some of those things. Like you'll be told to log in and do these things or automate these things that are maybe in the cloud or on-prem, but you wouldn't be looking at it from a design perspective. You may get mentored to do that, but that's just my thought process, right? All right, so that's the first question. Let me go down here to next question. Let me look in here. I'm just going down one by one. Oh yeah, yeah. All right. So the next one, um, someone asked, "Hey, I want to express my gratitude for your Linux infrastructure workshop. They're gravitating towards Kubernetes. They completed their CKA and their CKAD, and would like to ask if there are any opportunities for me to join the group or the forum or the blog, blah blah blah. Absolutely. I'll send you a shout out and say, is it possible? I'd like to share my resume with you for critiques and so forth. All right. So inside of the Gov, inside of my workshop, I did mock interviews. Those that have joined us on Wednesdays know that I have done plenty of mock interviews. Taken we've taken job descriptions, ran them through Chat GPT, created a actual um created an actual study guide on that particular job, or really just in general on the actual applications or cloud native tools within the job description, so that way you could be abreast for any job. We've seen that. So this person wants me to look over their resume, give them some good feedback, and go from there. Now, to me, that's a one-on-one session where you will have to get where I will have to go through and critique that resume. And really, the question is, what am I critiquing your resume for? Like, what are your next steps, right? So at the conference, I also got a lot of people that are like trying to figure out their transition. Like they're in tech, but they want to transition. My favorite line is cybersecurity, and in particular, I want to do GRC. That's my favorite line. That's what I hear all the time. And then when I ask people why, most people like, because it's cybersecurity or it's money, right? And I'm like, well, yeah, but like, what else do you want to do? Like, what's your end goal? What's your career end goal, right? And I don't think you all know the ins and outs of like different careers, right? So at the conference, I talked about this, and everybody who knows me know I talk about this all the time. Edge computing, quantum computing, um, anything centered around a hybrid model. Um, when I say a hybrid model, meaning like on-prem and in the cloud, people making migrations back from the cloud to on-prem, right? Let me see if I can find this, because I think a lot of you all get stuck in the cloud and you don't realize that the cloud is just like a small slither of knowledge that you should have. Let me see if I can find it. It was a show I was watching the other day, and I thought it was interesting because The guy was really talking about people migrating back from the cloud, and I think if I'm not, I want to say it was Adobe, but don't get me wrong. Hold on, let me look. Um, that's a new guy I had found that I thought was interesting. Let me see. I had to find this guy. Um I've started following him. Anyway, long story short, he was talking about how this one company, I want to say, I don't think it was Adobe, it was another company. Anyway, they migrated back from the cloud and ended up saving themselves $30 million a year for this migration. So which I thought was actually, a pretty good chunk of change, considering that a lot of people are like really focused on, hey, I need to make sure that I am cloud based, I am this, I am that. So just something to think about. I'm looking to see if I saved it, and I don't think I did. Let me look through my notes. No, I didn't save it. It's all good though, because normally I save stuff like that, so I can come back to it. All right, all right. Let me look at the questions here. On-prem, PREM. On-prem meaning like servers physically in the office. AWFMs, AMWFMs. That's a D question when we're gonna open back up. That's a D question. All right, let me look. All right. All right. So next person asks about where's Linux going, right? And they also wanted to link up in chat. All right. So those that have been um following, I'm gonna leave this open to you all. Tell me all of the areas where Linux is at and growing. Like, one thing to hear from me is it's another to hear from other people that's sitting in the audience. And if I don't answer all y'all questions today, you can always leave comments and questions below after this show. All right. So, Black Dove said everywhere. All right, so let's go ahead and label out some stuff. I don't know if you all watched Textual Chatter's latest video with the guy that started working at what he worked at. He didn't start working at. He worked at Georgia Tech. He started getting involved with high performance computing. Like I told you, a lot of things that a lot of jobs that y'all are looking for, they're right there in your backyard. All your colleges touch Linux, every last one of them, especially those ones that work in the medical industry, that doing research and development. Those servers that they're doing their research on and running uh, are high performance computings. They're Linux clusters. They're chomping away at everything. Anything dealing with space, anything dealing with cars, watches, edge devices, your phone, your tablets, your laptops, your routers that are at home, um, all Linux based. It's just a crazy industry, right? Just a crazy industry. I think it's the best kept secret since sliced bread. That's what I think. Um, so I wanted to. I was gonna bring this up the other day, but I'm gonna talk about it a little bit now and why in regards to what we're talking about here. So I mentioned this before. Palantir, all these pop-ups. Palantir and Anduril are putting together a consortium, and they're partnering with SpaceX and OpenAI to compete against defense contractors in the $850 billion military market. Now, I said this before. I told you all to look at the defense budget that's coming out. I told you it was $850 billion. Rich keep each other rich. Palantir does not need to partner with Andrew. They don't need to partner with SpaceX. They don't need to partner with OpenAI. They got billions by themselves. So why would I partner with them? Why? Because I know that this money that's about to drop is going to be insane. And we're going to keep each other rich. Individually, we compete. We compete. They don't. They don't. They getting together and they banding together and they going after all the contracts. There's a group in Silicon Valley that was doing this probably about 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. When I show you stuff, you best believe it's money keeping money, right? Palantir. Palantir just won $480 million. They just won another $1 billion contract. Andrew won $1 billion contract. SpaceX gets plenty of money, and OpenAI is worth billions, right? So if you don't believe what I'm telling you, I think I spelled that wrong. All right. So Andrew Industries awarded a defense contract with the Department of Defense. That one is for 250 million. That was that Road Runner that I showed you not too long ago. Here's another one that was announced in November for 200 million. That was an IDIQ. Um, here's the one talking about the consortium they're building, right? Here's another one, defense contract, valued at 7.75 million. This is a contract that's out there. Um, Here are their biggest wins. This article is from 2024, May this year. So that's earlier, not now. But they go through all of their contracts on what they won and what they've been working on. And again, it's an international company, right? International company. All right. So now let's go look at Palantir. And these are companies you can invest in Palantirs. I invested in Palantir when it was $10. PLTR, is that what it is? PLTR ticker. Okay, it closed on Friday at 79. We can look at the 1 year of it. Let's see, in 2023 it was $17. Let me go 5 years out, right? In 2020 it was $9.20. You could have brought 100 shares. The goal is to get 100 shares, right? You can go get 200 shares. You could have bought 200 shares back in 2020. It's been steady. Took a big dip here in 2023 and went down to $6.40 in 2022. And in 2023 in January it was $7. And now it sits at $79. At one point it was $81, right? At one point it was $81. So yeah, it had a high of 84, right? Had a high of 84. So why am I telling you this? Okay. I mean, let's talk about it. All right, Palantir. $619 million contract with the Army, a 480 million contract with the Maven with Maven with the Army, 100 million with Maven Smart, a contract with the Chief Data and AI Office, and so forth. Right. So, I mean, I just showed you right here what almost almost 2 billion right there. That's just in contracts, right? So now you think they get together with Andrew Palantir again. The goal is to mine that data, get that data in there, um, do something with that data, display that data back out, right? So now we're talking about not just data, but moving data, not just moving data, but securing the movement of that data, doing analysis on that data, um, looking at that data for whatever I'm interested in, right? So your other places that you need to look at for jobs, NOAA, right? The National Oceanic and Atmosphere Administration uses Linux. Those when those planes are flying into the hurricane, gathering data, doing an analysis real time on that data, taking that data in, holding that data, scrubbing that data. It's all ran by Linux. It's all ran by Linux. So let me see if I can find planes, AA Linux. Let's see. I'm gonna just give you some example stuff that you could do and what it looks like. All right, so this is just a quick search. Not a definite search, but give you an idea. All right, so just starting at the top, recording signals with for the NOAA. If you're feeling fancy and free, you can go get you can build your own receiving weather data on Raspberry Pis or Linux. Literally taking in data and then setting it up to do an analysis on that data, to output that data, to do something with it. You can do this at home, right? But if you do this at home, you could do this in the real world too, right? NOAA, right? Just showing you some stuff that's out here that you could set up and do for yourselves, right? They have all kind of little bitty satellites that you could go out and get and actually start looking at and start playing with, right? So let's look at NOAA and then Linux. Let's look and see. Yep. So right here, Ocean and Atmosphere Administration. Here's the users can request the Linux source code by sending a request via this email. So they automatically tell you that. And then here's where their high split, right? This is something that they're using. Here's another one here from the Linux for Rail 6 and Rail 7 that they're using straight. So now we know for a fact that NOAA has some applications that they have built in Linux that they use automatically. So if I'm looking for a job as a sysadmin, I'm gonna look for a sysadmin job with NOAA, right? Admin jobs NOAA. All right, boom, pop right up. IT sysadmin job NOAA California 96. They also got some electronic system analyst, a IT system analyst up in Alaska. I'm looking for just sysadmin jobs here, but there's other jobs. But I'm just looking strictly for sysadmin. All right, so let's look at probably on the GS side. If you went to like an OPM or something like that, they'll probably have jobs there too, right? Don't forget third party companies also hire for government jobs too, right? All right, so let me see. The founder that sold Oculus to Facebook pivoted to defense contractor with his drones, correct? Let me see if there are any questions that I'm missing out here, D. Let me look. Um, okay. I think I answered. Okay, cool. All right, so let's go back. All right, so Linux progression. Linux sysadmin, senior Linux admin, staff, and principal. After principal, there is a distinguished, but I have never seen system a distinguished Linux system administrator job. I've never seen that. What I normally see is you'll move into like a tech lead role, and then you'll move into like a director, system architect ish role, or um almost like managing larger teams, budgets, and I say it could be team or teams, budgets, making final decisions on things, and then going from there. And then you got your VP of technical teams or something of that nature, right? You may even want to move up to CTO on certain things, because now you're really out here on a broader scale and looking at what the direction and the trajectory of where you want to go at with your career. Now, a lot of people don't like my numbers because I've been told I am not living in the real world, and I don't know what world I'm living in if I'm not living in the real world. Whatever. All right. So um I have seen senior Linux sysadmins actually make 200K. I have seen staff go from 200 to 250, and principal go from 250 to 320, right? Tech leads, I have seen tech lead jobs for 100,000. I have seen tech lead jobs for 200, 300,000. It really depends on the company, the location, and what they're looking for. Now, I know a couple of folks have seen the jobs out there um for, let me see if I could pull them up. Let's pull them up, because I'm whatever. Because when I talk, people be like, "You making stuff up." So mm, we just gonna keep it real simple, real 1,000 here. All right. So Joe hasn't had any posts recently, so let me go look at his post here. All right. So Joe had some posts a while ago. Let me back up here. Let me look at the jobs that he had, because Joe will post a job. And this gets on the crypto side, for quants and so forth, and they're paying $1 million, right? Some jobs have been posted from Joe. They're paying 5 million to 10 million. So I just want to show you the posts, because a lot of people be like, those jobs are not real. You can't get a job like that. No one's hiring you for that. You know, those kind of words. All right, so I don't see I see he don't have him up here right now. Head of quant trading, and head of quant research for crypto, and a quant trader. Senior resume there. Let me look. I'm trying to go to his old post. I guess he got too many people asking him about are these jobs real? And I see they don't. I see they're not posting with the salaries anymore. That's a shame. Hold on, let me find Joe on my women in Linux joint. Let's go back. All right, so let's go to jobs. Do 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 do. And I answer your questions. I saw them pop up. I'll answer them in a minute. All right, this is just my quick search inside of my LinkedIn. I mean, inside of my Slack that I know I posted. All right, so here we go. Quant trader. This was posted 9 months ago. Job paying from 800 to 1.5 million. All right. I had Joe on the show to talk about these jobs as well too. And I probably need to follow these links as well too. A micro quant 150 to 2 let's see to 250, right? Um I mean, look, I'm just going through the posts that I've made over the years. So, people don't believe they out here. This one's from 250 to 500,000, right? And let's go back and see if they got any if they got their quant jobs listed here. Let's just only do North America. All right, commodity derivatives. And this is totally different than Linux. Well, you'll still use Linux and Python or Linux and Rust. But quant trading, the jobs are paying. And I am talking about if you're going to be in it, especially if you're doing like the IT and the infrastructure for it, you could do IT for a senior Linux admin at 160K to 250K with an annual discretionary bonus of 300,000 to 400,000. It's right there in your face. That's the discretionary bonus. Right? In Chicago. I'm gonna blow it up. It's a reason why I went down the rabbit hole. All right. So 160 to 250 base salary with a discretionary bonus of 300,000 to 400,000. They're looking for somebody to design and build and maintain Linux systems on which the firm's trading infrastructure runs on. Design, build, and maintain. This is not your regular sysadmin, Linux sysadmin job. This is somebody who understands that I need to make the operating system fast. I need to make the storage fast. I need to get this built and done. My question to you is if they required you to work over 40 hours, would you work for over 40 hours? I'm just curious. Because I know some of y'all are like, it ain't worth it. I ain't working over 40. If you were required to work over 40 hours, knowing that your discretionary bonus could be between 300,000 to 400,000, would you work? All right, let's keep going. Optimize this to run with the lowest possible latency, including performance tuning and kernel tuning. Kernel tuning contribute to ongoing globalization efforts of the firm's Linux systems, including reducing redundancies, improving infrastructure bottlenecks, and improving automation stacks. What they looking for? Somebody that understands Python, somebody that understands kernels, somebody that understands high performance computing and Kubernetes experience are major wins. Now, it's some of you out there that be like, These are lies. And it's some of you out there that won't even take the time to read. And you know what the conversation that I find online all the time is? Only 1% of the only 1% of black people make over 100,000. It ain't that many of us are out there. What? Okay, how we change that? How do we change? Well, you know what? Next year, I'm gonna be ignorant. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be like, if you talking about 100,000, we can't talk because we need to be talking about the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, the 6. It's right here in your face. It's right here in your face. All right, I'm gonna go back, bring it down a little bit so I can see. Engineering manager, senior data center engineer. Perfect. Good one. Posted 18 days ago. 150 to 175. Notice on this one, they don't talk about a discretionary, don't talk about a bonus. You don't see that on here. But you do oversee Linux-based systems, ensure optimal performance. You do see that. And this is working in a data center. Financial firms use mainframes and Linux. Mainframes and Linux. All right. Drop a one in the chat if you like what I'm putting down today. I have no agenda for today. I'm doing Q&A and things that I've seen and LinkedIn. I'm answering questions from LinkedIn. Let's go to line number 2. All right, here we go. New York, 175 to 225 plus a performance bonus. All right. Design and deploy Python, Bash, PowerShell. Monitor system performance, collaborate 10 years. They don't say how they base the performance bonus. All right. Solutions architect, Manhattan. I saw somebody earlier. How do you become a system engineer? Let me tell you something. They slap systems engineer onto everything. I've been a system engineer and I didn't go to college to become a system engineer. I just got slapped with the title. You get sometimes you get slapped with these titles, right? So this is a solutions architect, optimal architectures and advise cost-effective high-performance infrastructure, develop, implement top-notch, offer advice, again, cost-efficient. I always tell y'all to look at the business value of what you're doing, right? Look at the cost of what you're doing. How does it help the actual customer itself? That kind of thing. Work with development and operations, performance, infrastructure assessments, and suggest improvements. Again, cloud costs, infrastructure management with VMware, Nutanix, Kubernetes, and Terraform, public cloud, Azure and AWS, Python, and Bash, Prometheus, and Linux and Windows. Self starter, understand FinOps. If you don't know when I say FinOps, all you gotta do is type in FinOps. Right here, and you will see there is a whole list of stuff of what is FinOps. There's a foundation out there for the FinOps Foundation. If you're talking about Kubernetes, you should be looking at cube costs. If you're talking about cloud management or on-prem management, you should be looking at whatever's native to that. You can integrate that with things with like Datadog or whatever other tool you would like to use for understanding what is FinOps. Inform, optimize, operate, right? Again, that's a whole field. That's a whole field, right? All right. So let me answer these questions. Let me scroll on up. All right. Let me go back. It says, okay, how about me being a recruiter for these jobs? You could be a recruiter for those jobs. You talk to Joe. He'll let you know how to do that. How to join Slack. All right, what are the job benefits looking like? Do they cover elite health insurance? Interesting. Well, one of the questions I would have is it's not just the benefits, but what is the 401k looking like? Are they invested in a 401k? Do they have not just the benefits, the health and medical benefits, but do you have benefits for your dog, pet benefits? Do you have benefits for your spouses? Like one of the big things I think with Microsoft or is it Google, if the person dies, the family still gets the salary up to 10 years or something like that. I think it was Microsoft or Google that does that. Like those benefits are what I'm saying. Like as the guy said in as he said, after birth, after death. After birth, after death, does this company still support my family, and what does those benefits look like? Healthcare benefits and so forth, right? Um, college, will they pay for your PhD? Will they pay for you to go to a conference? Will they pay for you to um do take time off to do a sabbatical? Can you get a sabbatical out of them? All right. All right. So what's the next one here? All right. What are some certs or systems I need to be in these areas as a project manager? I'm assuming you're talking about quant. I would hit go back. I would hit Joe up right here and ask Joe about recruitment, project managers on a quant system. You probably have to do some research on that and find out what that looks like. Um, I'm not sure if they would need a project manager on those. I'm not sure. A quant project manager. All right. Mm-hmm. A quantitative research project manager, which I think is different than what we're talking about. Yeah, senior project manager, market research, quantitative. Like, yeah, this is different than what we're looking at. But you can be a project manager for in financial services. But this just gives you an idea. You probably have to start doing some wordplay to try to figure it out. But this is what I see so far. It's not the $400,000, $500,000 jobs. You landed and you said you landed a cloud data engineer role too. You started on the 6th. Congratulations, and um I'm excited for you. I hope you got the money you wanted and um the team. I'm assuming the interview went well because you got the job. Also start looking around to see how you can help in other places in other areas so you can build and pad your resume and your skill sets. Let's see. Purple Rain, you said, I wonder what their recruitment process is like. We covered that on with Joe. It was one of our meetups on a Wednesday. I don't know if we recorded it or not. Oh yeah, we did record that one. We did record that one. I had to look that one up. Meek A, yes, I would recommend getting the RHCE. Cicely, you studying for your FinOps. Congratulations. Can any of this be achieved without a degree? Absolutely. You can do your search. Here's what I think. Just Tamika's personal thoughts. You ain't gotta agree with it. I think without a degree, there's a cap to your growth in industry unless you stay working at startups. But if you go big box traditional like your Raymond James and so forth, I think it's harder to move around at the more structured companies. Just my personal opinion. Um, I think the startups allow you not to have degrees, but I also think there's a cap, right? And when I say there's a cap, sometimes the starters don't have the money and you need the money. So you may have to go with a traditional box company to get the money that you want, right? And when I say the money that you want, I'm this Tamika talking, I'm strictly talking about 200 and up. Once you start hitting the 200, I'm I know people who do it without degrees, but they've been in the industry for a long time. They've had relationships. They utilize and exercise those relationships. Some people have done it from scratch. Some people have done it with just being a consultant and not even worry about it and just got the certifications and they just consult them and contract themselves out. That is also a possible way. But you got to know your shit, right? What's the networking process like? Purple Rain. I'm not sure what that means. All right. I'm just going through. It says, "How do I get in the field? I'm retiring in 2026 to 2027. You say you want to get in the field, you just get in the field. It ain't no it's no hocus pocus to it. You pick a subject, you study it, you get in it, right? If your subject is Python, then run with Python. If your subject is Rust, then run with Rust. If your subject is building fixing iPads, fixing Apple devices, that is another way to get in the field. Go work at Apple, right? If your thing is I want to uh, set up routers and switches, go work at Cisco, go work at Palo Alto, whatever. Um, if you are interested in just going to work uh, at at a college has colleges have help desk, they have cloud, they have high performance computing, they got government contracts. It's a sweet lick. That's how you get in the field. You pick a subject, you become a specialization in it. In the meanwhile, you add skills that T shape and go from there. To bump the message during your live. Look, we got somebody that's like, she on LinkedIn and I'm finna get her attention now. Yep, I talked about EPBF. All right, here we go. You out here, Amir. You bumped it. It's on the live. I'm gonna read it. I'm sorry. All right, thanks again for the guidance. I just finished watching the EPBF documentary and it was mind blowing. I love the technology. I'm glad Cilium exists. Since I'm not big on programming, you really put me on game. I'm still working through the course on edX and also downloaded Kubernetes networking and Cilium. Got you. I know who this is. I want to clarify something from our session. You mentioned that I might not need Kubernetes certification. You might not. Do you think replicating projects and designing my own would be enough to demonstrate my knowledge of Kubernetes? Yes. Or you could take the CKA, or you could do, like I say, the basics for Kubernetes. You can also do RKE. too. They also have a course there. But your biggest one is going to be understanding how, especially if you're doing networking, how do the applications talk to each other? How do I set up the networking on all the nodes and doing again packet inspection? That EPBF, I'm telling you. Here's another person to reach out to, right? She's actually in um she's actually in our group. Her name is Tracy Holmes. All right. So Tracy Holmes, she's not on here. She worked at Isovalent. Isovalent. Right. So I'm going to put this up here. And then I am going to tell you to look at this company. Right. So again, EPBF based network and security and observability. Isovalent Enterprise for Cilium enables cloud native networking, security, and observability. Here are the companies that use it and understand it. Here you go. Here's a product that's already out there that people are using. They also come to conferences. Um, Tracy Holmes is in our group. She actually talks about she actually does podcasts and actually set up the hands-on labs and stuff that you see on this website here. Like if you want to get hands-on labs right here, egress, IPsec, WireGuard, Cilium, and virtual machines with KubeVirt again. Under if you're using Harvester from Rancher, KubeVirt is underneath. KubeVirt does an actual let me see, KubeVirt. Let me just do this. If you went over here to the KubeVirt project, kubevirt.io, they actually have a way to use KubeVirt to set up your clusters. It's basically being able to set up a VM on a Kubernetes cluster. That's what you get. So KubeVirt under Rancher Harvester, they'll allow you to do this. There's also a tie-in to KubeVirt with OpenShift as well too. A lot of projects have taken and wrapped a nice GUI around it, but the baseline is KubeVirt. Right. I'm gonna keep going. You said I've been typecasted to healthcare companies. I don't mind though. Get all the money. You said, would you recommend getting a degree from 18 to 21 or get straight into the field? Why you can't do both? Why you can't get your degree and also get your why you can't get your degree and do an internship or an apprenticeship, right? I did a whole show on apprenticeships. Whole show. Um your places like your Home Depot. Y'all sleep on Home Depot. You could be working in lawn and garden at Home Depot and say you want to go into and get into tech, and they will pay you to learn and transition into tech at Home Depot. Delta has it, Home Depot has it. Y'all got sweet licks. I didn't have that. All right. I didn't have that. So there's a website out there called apprenticeship.com. You can go check them out. And you say, what degree would you strive for? I'm biased. Don't ask me because I'm biased. People say computer science. I say computer engineer. A lot of people like, oh, you gotta go computer science. Yeah, well, yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm more computer engineer. Call me a snob. I just think it just sounds better when you got engineer on the end of your title. I just think it looks better on resumes. I think you learn a whole lot different um as an engineer versus doing computer science where you really probably relegated to programming versus computer engineering. You kind of do a little bit of both. hardware and software. So I lean towards computer engineering because in my years of working, I am both hardware and software versus being one track. Just my thought process there, right? Just my thought process. But nevertheless, let's ask our friends down at the chat and the GPT. Let's ask. Create a table to define differences in computer engineering and I spelled that wrong, and computer science. And then we'll take it one step further and go to a curriculum. Ooh. All right. So I let it do the work for me. I let it do the work for me. All right. So your computer engineering focuses on design and development of hardware and integration with software. Again, like I said, hardware, software integration. Computer science focuses on algorithms, programming, and software systems. Can you go forward programming? Absolutely. Can you go far with designing systems? Absolutely. All right. So key areas of focus: embedded systems, microprocessors, again, embedded Linux, edge devices, um, your app, your tablets, your iPhones, your Android phones, all of that. That's where you see more on the computer engineering side. Computer science is probably building an app to go on top of that. As you can see, artificial intelligence as well too. Core subjects: electronics, digital logic, computer architecture goes a long way. Goes a long way. Machine learning, databases, and operating systems. I would put operating systems on the computer engineer side because you also work with embedded systems. You can't not work with an operating you cannot work with an embedded system without an operating system. That's just bogus. You got to have an operating system, right? You got to understand kernels. You got to understand how to get the hardware to do what I want it to do. How do I program that hardware to do what I want it to do, right? So assembly, embedded systems, kernels, programming kernels. That quant job is a mix of both. That quant job is a mix of computer programmer and computer engineer. How do I make these Linux boxes move quickly? How do I optimize the kernel? How do I optimize the hardware? How do I speed it up? On top of that, I need to write an application that needs to ride along top of that operating system, and I'm probably gonna do program. That's where you it's a mix. It's a mix, right? Hardware design, firmware development, system integration. I'm looking at skills developed, software coding, problem solving. Every tech job is a problem solving job. That's not unique. Mathematical modeling, embedded systems developer, IoT specialist, hardware, here data science. I don't know about cybersecurity expert. You could be a computer engineer, switch and go into cybersecurity and do cybersecurity on embedded systems, cybersecurity on your phone. Again, computers, computer science and electrical engineering, and solely focusing on computing concepts and applications. I'll go back up to the top. One side is computer science, the other one is computer engineering, and so forth. Right. All right. So let's go. What are classes do computer engineers take at Georgia Tech? All right. So here what they say. All right, you're gonna take circuit analysis, programming for hardware and software systems, data and computer communication, VLSI, statistics, You're gonna have a senior project. You're gonna do some object-oriented programming, data structures, and data algorithms, and introduction to discrete math. Now you see this. This is what I put down for computer engineering, right? We're gonna go back up here, and you're gonna look, and you're gonna see software development, algorithms, data structures. We take data structures as computer engineers. We have to take data structures. We have to take. We have to. It is part of your core. There are certain unique classes up to a certain point where computer engineer and computer science differ, but your core subjects such as programming, they're the same. Those are core. Those are 101 engineering classes, right? And then they get into specifics later on, but you're going to do the same thing. So those are my thoughts. It says, is your Linux regression you showed us what happened during your career? Or it's just broad? No, it's what happened during my career. The only thing that's left off, let's see, it is on this one. You're welcome. So what happened here? So right here. So I actually started out with the help desk, working with Linux at the help desk and some Windows stuff, but primarily Linux. And then moved in from Linux administration help desk into Linux system admin, right? And then moved and listen, um, do titles matter? Yes and no. Yes, they matter if they not if yes, they matter if they're gonna pay you more. No, they don't if they're gonna pay you the same. And you need to ask that question when you interview. Can I go in as a senior Linux admin, or can I go in as a staff or principal? And if you start hearing those pay bands are different, you better figure out which one you are. Because they'll be like, you'll be like, well, where do you think you fall? It's principal. Mhm. Give me my money, right? So you need to figure out what that looks like when you start talking about those titles. And then you could just be a Linux admin too, right? All right, so let's see. Let's see. Oh, what I meant for networking process, like how do I make connections that can lead to higher paying jobs in tech? Oh, okay, yeah. So the network connections, right? You conferences is one. That's one. The other one is also being able to go over um to put yourself out there. Your blogs, your YouTube channels, your TikToks, whatever. Um People, when you put out content, people watch it. So that's an easy way to network, right? You throw content out there and then people watch it. That's an easy way to network because now people see you and they come to you, right? But here's the key. Here's the key. When you put yourself out there, people are looking at you as if you're the subject matter expert. And if you don't do the one thing that I talk about all the time is read and apply. If you don't read and don't apply, you will come off real silly. I want to say dumb, but I'll say silly, right? So the constant and forever learning and reading helps you, but you have to be able to convey the information enough where someone who is either a 5-year old or a 70-year-old can pick up what you're putting down. And if you can't do that, then you will lose audiences. You have to be able to convey a message on a large scale to a broader group of people. And if you can't do that, you will always be explaining yourself or drawing diagrams. And sometimes it helps to draw diagrams. I'm not going to knock it, but I'm just saying, right? Come in green to get this green. Yep. So if you also work for college, it's another thing to, it's not just the student loan forgiveness, but the ability to go to college, to go get those degrees, to go get those certifications, right? Wharton School of Business, Yale has a huge program. In fact, Yale has an apprenticeship program. where you can get in. A couple of folks have gone through that apprenticeship program. Yale, go if you want to go. If you want to go to Yale, go work at Yale. If you want to go to Brown, go work at Brown. If you want to go to USC, go work at USC. If you want to go to Georgia Tech, go work at Georgia Tech. If you want to go to Georgia State, go work at Georgia State. Don't make your life hard. If you say I need a degree, why not go work at the school in the tech program and in the engineering roles or in their tech roles and then go to school. I did it. I did it. I think that apprenticeship might have been episode 124. I'm not sure. Is cloud computing degree perceived poorly? What is a cloud computing degree? I don't know. Um, Personally, I think just going to get your AWS cloud cert or your Azure cloud cert should be enough. I don't know about a cloud computing degree. I think does WGU do that or something like that? I don't know. But I just personally think let me all right, let me offend some people here. I personally think we need more engineers, right? Certs is cool. Everybody's like Tamika, everybody can't pass math. Mm, mm, if you can add and divide, multiply and subtract, you can do calculus. And this is the person that got mad and threw books across the room. Trust me. Now, here's the kicker. Most people won't take the time to go get the extra help. And you won't take time to learn the basics and the core. And that is algebra. You need to know algebra to go do it. Now, some people like, I'm too old. I want to get the shortcut. I want to get in and get done. You can get in with a shortcut. I'm not knocking the shortcuts. I'm knocking your longevity without having that degree or the ability to read and apply. Just because you get in don't mean you stop. A lot of you all get in and like, I got my AWS cert, I got my Kubernetes cert, I got my Security Plus. I'm golden. No, you're not. It's always somebody out there hunting for the hunt for Red October. Somebody's hunting you, like the hunt for Red October. They're coming to get you. And a lot of people like, well, I don't want to always be looking over my shoulder. I just want to coast. I just want to sit back, watch my little girl blow bubbles. Well, you can do that. And somebody else is gonna come and blow bubbles with you and then get up and go to the next level. Figure out what your niche is, what you wanna be when you grow up. I'm still growing up. I'm still growing up. Yeah, somebody was like, real dub was like, I got a job before I finished my community college degree. I had a job before I finished my 4-year degree. That's the doors that Linus has allowed me to open up. Getting jobs where no one else was looking at even thinking about it. Getting into positions. You know, imagine 20 years ago you getting a job and you making more than your professors who are teaching the classes. Who are teaching the class? Electrical engineering, it depends on if you want to work on circuits or not. I'm a computer engineer girl, but I mean, if you want to be hardware focused, you can do that. I just, eh. I mean, it's great. If you want to go work at the Nvidias, the Intels, the chip manufacturers, that environment. I just know a lot of people who got screwed over starting out as an electrical engineer versus a computer engineer. Cal 1, Cal 2, Cal 3, and discrete, and maybe linear algebra are the 4 classes. Linear algebra was easy. You ain't doing number transpose and matrices. If you know how to add, subtract, and divide, you know how to do matrices. That was easy. I think Cal 2 is easier than Cal 1, but Cal 1, the baseline of Cal 1 is understanding algebra. You gotta if we can collectively get people to understand uh algebra, Cal 1 would be easy. Cal 2 is just understanding forces and how uh energy moves, right? Kinetic energy, potential energy, understanding those formulas, knowing what you got in the equation and then solving for that, right? But Cal 1 is when you're getting introduced into, taking the first derivative is giving you the slope, right? What does the second derivative give you? How to do triple integrals. That's when your Cal 3 kicks in, and then your linear algebra is nothing. But if you get through Cal 1, you should be okay in Cal 2. I think Cal 2 was easier than Cal 1. It's just me. You said you think that's how you landed the role. I always post on my YouTube channel content is keen, honestly, in regards to getting discovered. Yep. WGU's off net cloud computing. I would have to look at it. MFA book value $18.42, which is the dividend, blah blah blah. Do-do-do-do. Yep. I'm with you on the computer engineering. Yeah, I just think we need more engineers. Yeah, keep your head on a swivel. Keep your head on a swivel, keep your mind going, always put yourself out there. Find people in the room that'll advocate for you. Find people in your network that'll advocate for you. If you're surround yourself, if you the only engineer that you know and everybody else is not an engineer, or they don't even understand what you do, that can bring you down. So find some like-minded people, or people that support you, or people that are going in the same direction, or even in the same field. Here's the other thing, and this is gonna be controversial and people not gonna like me. I don't know what college y'all went to, because people are telling young girls and young men that when they go to college that they need to find their husband, they need to find their wife while they in college. I'm just gonna tell you this. I don't know what calculus you taking, and I don't know what physics you taking, but I didn't have time for all of that. I ain't had time for all of that. I ain't studying for calculus and the exams and the physics classes. I ain't had time for that. Might have did a little party. Now there are exceptional students out there. Don't get me wrong. There are people out there that they can do it. I wasn't one of them. I just wasn't. Right. Any tips for longevity in a new role? Find out where the money is flowing and where they concentrate their money at. Whatever company you work at, they should put out quarterly statements on where their money is at, right? Where their money is going, what they're investing in, especially in their research and development areas. When you find out what they've been investing in for research and development, that at least let you know the future of the company, or the potential future of the company, right? You need to look at the statements of those companies. What are they looking at? What are they doing? The top board members and the people at the top, what are their interests? What are their interests lie at? What are they focused on? What conferences are they going to and speaking on? And this is something that was told to me, and I do that now. Go find out who the CEO is, and schedule a meeting with the CEO. You ain't gotta tell your manager you scheduled a meeting with the CEO. Ain't none of their business. Why am I telling you that? I'm telling you that because now you get a chance to sit down and talk one on one with the CEO. Most CEOs be like, come to me, sit down, set up even you schedule 15 minutes, come up with an agenda. Use Chat GPT to come up with an agenda, an introduction. Go look at some past videos, come up with some unique questions. 3 questions, get in and done. Guarantee that person will remember you because you took the time. They may not know your manager, they're gonna know you though. And somebody else will come out here and tell you, don't do that, don't schedule no time with the CEO. That's overstepping your manager's authority. That's for people that sit up there and just gotta wait for the pecking order. Mother, may I? Can I go talk to the CEO? Why? Just go schedule them. I can text my CEO right now. I get all the companies that I work for. I can text the CEO. Now, some of them may not like me. It's okay. I got one or two that might not like me. But go schedule go schedule a session with the CEO. Go schedule a 15-minute, 30-minute session. Talk to him, whatever. Yeah, ain't no time for no wife trying to take organic chemistry, calculus, and physics and thermal. I don't know what schools people are going to saying as an engineer or lawyer or doctor that you have time to find your wife. You organically find people that you grab, that you know, have a connection with, but to be up there talking about we going on dates and we doing this. First off, I'm broke. You broke. We broke. Second off, I'm just trying to get to class on time and make sure I understand what this teacher is talking about, especially if you got a teacher that got an accent and you can't figure it out. I'm just saying. Yeah, but some people have a great work life balance and could take Cal 3 tests when they were just at the bar last night. And I agree. I agree. Some people got those are the unicorns. I know a few of them. They could go party on Monday. The test be on Tuesday morning. They stay out all night partying, get in by 12, go to sleep for a couple hours, get up and review stuff for the next 5 hours, drink tons and tons of coffee, go take an exam and be okay. And then I know people that don't even worry about it. Just might skip class and walk in on the day of the exam and just take the exam and get an A on it, and then everybody be mad. I've seen it happen. I know one or two people like that, right? All right, so let me make sure I covered everything. We're at 132 mark. I told D only an hour and a half. Yeah, 80% of the engineers on part they're in the library and studying purpose. And that's why you don't see a lot of engineers that come out of college married. I was in college and was married before college. I went back to school, but when I went back to school, I was already married, right? But while in school, I don't even understand how people even dated in school taking engineering classes. It's just I can't I don't even see it. Right. All right. So let's go through the little quick stuff that I have and we'll get out of here. Something to keep on your radar. Um I know y'all heard about Trump talking about they want to shut down the FDIC. Go read up on that. I don't have time to cover that today. We'll say that for next week. But go check that out. Um, AWS officials confirmed plans to invest 5 billion into Fayette County with new data centers. So again, Fayette County, the first site out of Central Ohio, they putting in 5 billion in data centers from AWS. So just a FYI there. 115 trillion world economy in one chart. This is GDP for the GDP for China is 19.5. The GDP for the USA 30.3 trillion. The question is, how does that 30.3 trillion, how does that break down? Where's the I'm giving this right here is another way to keep up where the money is flowing, because now you can keep up where the industries are hot and what they're looking at and what they're looking for, right? If you don't think Linux is in farming, mm, Let's go to John Deere. Um, what is it? Remote tractors. Joseph, I've been meaning to get up with you, man. All right. Not remote tractors, remote control tractors, like the Autobots. But anyway, John Deere, another autonomous. I should say autonomous. Here we go. Um, with their autonomous tractors, their autonomous devices, right? Go check them out. We're talking about agriculture and Linux and autonomous. And I could just kind of pull this up here, turn it down on my side, but you can see for yourself here, right? Well, we're talking about farming from afar, right? Right. So I'm just saying, anything you could think of Linux wise, um, is there. So we're gonna talk about space, um, Linux industry. I'm just using keywords. I'm just showing you how I think. All right. Oh, look at there. All right. So here we go right here. All right. So we're just gonna come right here. The global Linux operating system market was valued at 18.35 billion in 2023. The market is projected to grow from 21.97 billion in 2024 to almost 100 billion in 2032, right? That's just Linux operating system itself. Underneath all of that, again, for Linux operating system is cloud computing. Majority of your 90% of the cloud computing is run on Linux, right? Um, and again, this is the expected growth. We're in 2024 right now. Here's what is expected to grow in 2032. So when I taught, and I said this at the conference, and I said it again, I'm telling you industries and fields for the next 10, 15, 20 years, not for the next 5 years. I don't care about the next 5 years. I want you all to be ready to go for the next 10, 15, 20 years. Why? This is a personal story. I'm not gonna say no names. I'm just gonna say it this way. So out and about yesterday, looking for a new car. I'm not gonna say who it's for or whatever. Anyway, the check was made out to the person and not the actual company itself. So the company was like, we can't take this check. The check is for uh we'll say over 40K. It's just a check to buy a car cash, right? Um at any point in time, yep, it's a cashier's check. At any point in time, the people who I was with, we were like, oh, well, we could just write you a check from our account and you could just utilize that, right? For to buy this car outright cash out the door, right? Now, it is very rare that I have seen, just I have seen. Maybe my network is limited, right? It is very rare that I have seen that you can have a group of people sitting around you and be like, okay, well, since you can't use that one, we just give you the 50. Nah, and give you the, we can give you that. Is you cool with that? Right? Now I'm telling you this for a reason. I'm telling you to put yourself in a position where not only can you help yourself, you can help others. But not only can you help others, you all have the ability to be in rooms where you could do amazing things. One thing I didn't mention at the conference is when you look to your left and to your right, and even on this channel, if you have not networked with each other in our Slack group and our meetups and talk to each other, you are doing yourself a disservice. That's your network. Those are your friends with the like-minded concepts. Those are the people that are in the ability to help you grow and reach and speak your name in other rooms that you're not able to be in. Those are your people that you want around. N- No humble brag or anything of that nature. It's the reality of it. Put yourself in a position where you can make the most amount of money with the skill sets that you have. Put yourself in a position where you understand the value of your skill sets. A lot of you all don't even understand the value of who you are, much less how do you provide value to a company. Understand the value of who you are. You're valuable. Your mindset is valuable. Your skill set is valuable. Your knowledge is valuable. Your experience is valuable. Now, how do you capitalize off of that? Put yourself in a position to have a leg up. Put yourself in a position to have two legs up. Whatever. However you want to say that, right? The goal of this channel is to have you understand the sky is not the limit. The galaxy is. We don't have to worry about just working on jobs in the United States. We're in a global market. We have global companies. We have global people coming to work here in the United States and elsewhere. Put yourself in a position where you can go work anywhere. If you want to go work in Australia, go work in Australia. If you want to go work in Dubai, go work in Dubai. If you want to go work anywhere else, go work anywhere else. Take your skills and utilize them everywhere. Am I worried about the return to office? Nah, I'm not. It don't bother me. If I gotta go in, I gotta go in. My question here's a question for you. If they told you you had to be at work and you was making 400,000 and you was gonna get a yearly bonus of 100,000, would you go to work? Would you go in the office? Some of you would say this, and I get this a lot. It ain't about the money, Tamika. It's about my peace. My question is, can you buy peace? I know I can. I don't know about you. I can buy a piece of pizza. I can buy, I can buy some peace. I'm just saying. May not like how I put that, but it is what it is. Right? Congratulations becoming a new member, Tomio. I gotta go. I have to go on YouTube because it don't show me what type of member, so I don't never know what kind of it just on StreamYard just shows me you became a member. Don't tell me what type of member. It just on. Okay, 100K earner. I have to go to YouTube in order to get that. All right, it is at that point. Oh, thank you. Um, we're closing out the year. Today's 28th. The new year, well, New Year's Eve will be here soon. Um, you all stay with your foot and your mind. Well, put your foot on people's necks. Keep your mind open. Stay sharp. It only take one yes. You can have 5,000 no's and one yes. That one yes may change your life. Think outside of the box. The Porsches, the BMWs, the Salesforces, they all use Linux. Adobe uses Linux. Also, think outside of what people tell you. If somebody's telling you you can't do it, you just be like, watch me work, hold my beer. Never take the first offer, always negotiate. Don't take the job for unless you're getting at least 30,000, 25 to 30,000 in a pay increase. And last but not least, compete against yourself. Always look for ways to improve yourself. If you wrote a bad script, now take that bad script and write it in a Python script. Once you write it in Python, go write it in Rust. Learn how to do things different ways. It's okay. It's always more than one way to solve a problem. And I think, oh yeah, I ended on this one. On my last little hurrah hurrah, my um my little pyramid here. This was in episode 124. Um One of the big things I want y'all to do is go calculate how much money you ever made. You can go to Social Security. It'll tell you from the time you started until now how much money you ever made. Then go look at how long it took you to make that much money. Why? Because now, as an engineer, you need to figure out how can you speed up that process, right? So if it took you 20 years to make $5 million, how can you speed up? Here's the thing: you know that you can make $5 million. That's a trick. You know that you can make $5 million because you've done it in the 20 years. What did you do to get there, and how can you take that and cut it in half? Instead of it being 20 years, it'd be 10 years or maybe 5 years. But you would never know where you've been if you don't go check it out. Like, you got to go check it out, see where you been, how much money you made, what does that look like? The you said SSA told me I'm poor. I've been working almost 15 years. Okay, so it don't matter about how long you've been working. It matters about what you've earned. And now you know what you've earned. Go speed up the process. Rachel, thank you. You can't we can't worry about what you did before. Like, you know what you did before. Now we know what we want to do. Here's a plan to go do that, right? The next one here is a lot of y'all need to work on public speaking. I think in the new year, I'm gonna start having you all come up and onto the channel and do and tell and I want you to give me, I don't know, maybe a 1 minute introduction about yourself and then what you're looking forward to doing next. I don't know. I have to think of something. I had to think of something. Is Wednesday New Year's Day? I don't know. It might be canceled. I'm not sure. I have to look see what date it is. All right, paying off high interest debt. Pay it off. Now, you say, how do I do that? Well, one way to do that is sign-on bonuses, right? Sign-on bonuses. How many of y'all have got a sign-on bonus? Put in the chat your largest sign-on bonus you ever got. Put in the chat your largest sign-on bonus you ever got. Okay? Did you negotiate, Meek? Did y'all negotiate for a sign-on bonus? Mm. Well, I've seen some people get high sign-on bonuses at 100,000, some at 50,000, some at 40,000, some at 30,000. You like, why you telling her this? Because you can use that sign-on bonus, drop it into a high yield savings account, and over time pay this down, this high interest debt down. The reason why I'm saying get that money, the sign-on bonus, and put it into something and let it work. Within some time, you'll pay this off, right? But I need that money to make some money because it got ate up in taxes. So I need for it to make me a little money, and then go pay that off, right? Here, most of the companies automatically are doing Roth 401ks and HSAs. Invest in them, max them out. But you're gonna need to make some money so you can max them out. 23,000 and 4150, or what is it, 4,300 now or something like that. That's about, let's just round it up and say even 30,000. So those that make 100,000, if you take off 30,000, but pre-tax, you only really left with 70,000 that you really bringing, like, after taxes, bring it home. Then after you take off taxes off that 7,000, that's really what you bring it home, right? Setting up your emergency fund, I say do it for a year, and then again a high yield savings account. Understand your taxes and how they work in your for what you're doing. And this right here, I got term life insurance because I think you need to start out. This is what I consider your foundation. This is what you're gonna have as your foundation, and then you'll work your way up. You keep working your way up. I got this at 200K, but you can use this as a 100K as your foundation. Move up to 215, and I'm being gradual here. It should be 225, and then 225 to 250, and then 250 to 300, and then here above, right? So I just kind of keep it gradual, right? Um, that's fine with the untraditional route. You still should negotiate for a sign-on bonus, even if it's $2,000. Negotiate. It's located in my personal lucid chart, right? So again, career trajectory, what you're looking at, so forth. And then don't forget the roles out there, systems engineer and so forth. I might share it one day. I might share this like one day. I have another one that I've been working on. That would need to be tweaked a little bit more. I was thinking about putting out a ebook on all this stuff. You're welcome. All right, let me see. Is there anything else that I want to talk about? Oh yeah. Space Force to publish an international strategy in 2025. So Space Force is going international. So again, Look for that strategy with their, again, being able to work internationally, being able to work internationally. And then last but not least, my favorite my favorite one is Fed Scoop. Um this is just what I use to find a lot of things about the billions of dollars that are being spent, the billions of dollars that are not being spent as well too, like what's left on the table, right? Um, just my thought process. Let's see, like this right here. It was in Fed Scoop and let me hear. House passes $196 billion Social Security bill. 196 billion. That's where all your social services programs come out of, right? All right, and then before we get out of here, I wanted to pull this up. Right here. JR posted this. It's a job. I want to make sure if you're part of that Slack group, we got a we have a we have a jobs section. We got a ton, as you can see, we got a ton of light channels. All right, so this job right here, is in San Antonio. They're paying for relocation. They're also sponsoring a TSSCI. Congratulations to those that got their clearances and getting them upgraded. Um, they pay for college if you need it, and they'll and follow on training from SANS to academia. The job is paying from 79,000 to 156,000. It's a GS role, and you get 2 to 3 days to work from home. So you're getting your clearance sponsored. They're paying for school. They're giving you a SANS cert and classes to take, and you work from home. And the job, again, rule of thumb. Let's go. Y'all know my rule of thumb. Those that don't know and that are new, let me show you what my rule of thumb is. This is what your first offer of your job would be. So if the job is paying 79,000, and the range, the upper end is 156,000, you add them up and then divide by 2. Your initial job offer is 117,000, but you know they can go up to 156. So you can negotiate from that 117 up, right? Hope you know that. They're going to always come in the middle of that range. That's going to be your first job offer. And they probably going to lowball you too. But because you've been in Women in Linux, you savvy. You're a monster on the on this negotiating. You're going to negotiate up, right? So if they come back at 117, you know they got a scale of one up to 156. You can go back and you could be like, you can go back and ask for the 145. I know some of y'all go back and ask for 156, right? You can go ask for 145. You can even go back and ask for the 150. Heather, the spreadsheet was not going to make an appearance. Okay. Should it? Heather, D, should I do the spreadsheet since y'all talking about it? L3 Havers won a $1 billion Navy contract. Yeah, IDIQ, right? $1 billion for the Navy. Top paying agencies, right? Anything in the intel community and Air Force, then Navy. Army is last. Army is last. Okay. I didn't want to do it, but Heather and D talked the spreadsheet up. I did the spreadsheet on Simone's beads joint. I just want to talk about how y'all get to the money quicker. I don't know. I don't know. Let me stop. Let me ask the put a one in the chat. Do you want me to talk about becoming the W2 millionaire, or do you want me to just end the live and we could just call it good here? It's at the 2 o'clock mark. I'm just gonna let you all tell me what you want to hear next. But on this spreadsheet side, do you want to talk about it or we end it? Because it's been 2 hours. Not the spreadsheet. Just let me know. For the sheets. Okay. D. I'm going with the crowd. The crowd said give it to him. All right. Spreadsheet it is. All right. Let me do this first. Whatever. Okay. Where is the spreadsheet? I'm coming. I'm going to the spreadsheet. We got it right here. Spreadsheet time. Okay. All right. So there's two things here. Three. It's actually several things. I don't even know why I say two. Several things. All right. This investor calculator. I use this strictly for to show you all how compound interest works, and then to the spreadsheet when it came up. Did if you and Heather didn't mention it, I was getting up out of here. Okay. I was getting up out of here. Blame yourselves for the spreadsheet. Come on. Blame D. Blame Heather. Right. All right. So uh mhm. All right. We went to lives and we went to episode 124. I think I told y'all this. Whoever came to um whoever spoke to at conferences and stuff like that. But let me pull it up. I miss Foolish Finance Fridays. I miss Petty T episodes. All right, so here, episode 124, right? W2 multimillionaire dollar masterclass, right? 124. The other episodes to watch is 125. So I'm not gonna spend long here. I'm just gonna toss some things out because y'all was asking about benefits earlier. All right. So there are companies out there, like I said before, uh, that put automatically 25% into your 401k. People are like, what do you mean by that? So I mean, if you make $100,000, or just in this case, if you make $150,000, right? They're gonna put in 37,000 off the rip, 37,500 into your 401k. You do nothing but sit there and look cute. You do nothing but sit there and go get your Caesar or go get your unit or whatever the case may be. Get your locks retwisted. They're gonna put in 37,500. On top of that 37,500, lines 12 and 13 total out to be 37,500. So this is where your vacation time comes. You don't have to take PTO, and so forth. So say you didn't take PTO, let's say you were working, you didn't take PTO, you floated your hours, you did whatever, right? So instead of, for example, a place like General Motors or certain companies, they don't work after the last 2 weeks of the year. You get paid that out regardless, right? So with that being said, if you're getting paid out regardless, then would you be taking time off? No, because you're gonna get paid anyway. So this 37,500 actually gets paid out to you in October of the fiscal year. So if I go into the calculator, and if I do 37,500 times 0.7, in October you'll get a check for 26,000. Now, a lot of you will go spend it, but you won't do nothing else with it. But if you come over here with that 26,500, I'll just do 26,000. Let's say you take the 500 or 250 or whatever it was, and you go throw it into a high yield savings account, and you drop every month into that high yield savings account $500 every month. And let's say you do it I'll be nice and do it over the next 5 years. It only has an interest rate of 5% on most of those. I won't do one up and one down. We're just doing a high yield savings account. So in 5 years, that $26,000 that you just that one time, and you're putting in $500 a month, could be 66,000. But remember, you working 5 years, so you getting $26,000 every year for 5 years, right? So if we wanted to, we'll go back to the calculator. If we take this and divide this by 12 to give us a true look at it, we'll do $2,200. Just bear with me on this one. And let's say you putting in, instead of 500, you putting in $2,200, right? And I'm gonna leave it as to 26,000. Oh, are you doing that to me? Start over. 26,000. You putting in 2,200 every month. I'm just gonna show, right? And then 5 years. Remember, I just took 26,000 divided by by uh by 12. And let's just do 5% and then calculate. In theory, you could be at $180,000 in 5 years in a savings account. Cash. That's at 5%. Now, let's go say we plan the stock market, and we're gonna do 8%. I'll give a 2% variance there, and you're starting out with 26,000, and you're putting in 2,200 a month. And let's calculate that. You'll be at 193. So on the low end, they got 183. So we could just say, we'll just round down here and just say 180. So in theory, between the stock market and the high yield savings account, in theory, in 5 years, you could be between 180,000 to 200,000 cash, right, in your accounts, give or take. High yield, 401k, whatever, IRA, whatever. You pick it. That's in 5 years. All right. Now, there's another caveat to this. You see this line item right here, your hourly rate. Typically, these particular jobs pay by the hour, even though you are salaried, right? So let's say let's say every month you're supposed to work 184 hours, but you work 200 hours. And you work 200 hours and you multiply that by 71. That's oh, I did that wrong. Yeah, that's right. 14,200. Truly how it works is if you take that and multiply that by 0.25, whoopsie, whoopsie. That's what you could be putting into your 401k every month. So let's go back over here. It's 37,500. So let's go divide this out. 37,500 divided by 12. So every month they're putting in 31.25. But if you work more than the hours that are allotted that month, say that 200 hours times that 71 is what you get in an hour, and then you multiply that by 0.25. Oopsie. Really, what's going into your 401k every month is $3,500, right? So let's take that 3,500. Let's say you work them extra hours every month times 12. Multiply that by 5. Just in cash alone, it'll be 213,000 going in. That's sitting in your 401k. I have not done the contributions of the 8% and all of that. But if I did, was it 31.25? 37,500. Yep. So if we're gonna keep it the way we've been doing it, you're 37,500. Suppose you work over some allotted time and you add it. Let's say you max out the contributions. Let's say you're putting in 8,000 a month. Between you and the employer, you could be putting in 8,000 a month. We'll leave everything the same. In 5 years, you could be at 618,000. You say, how did I get to that number? Well, we know they're gonna automatically put in 25%. We also know that we can add to the contributions as well too. So between the employer and you, the most that can go into your 401k right now is 79,000, right? And remember, if you're working extra hours, that increases the monthly contribution to your 401k. And you do that for 5 years, you have an estimated rate of return of 8%, an interest variance rate of 2, and it's annual. So your range could be from 600,000, 591,000, or 600,000 to 646,000. Say I did this for 10 years. I'm a millionaire in 10 years at 1.5 million. You could divide that up how you want to. right? You can do part of it into your HSA, you can do part of it into your 401k, depends on you, an IRA, whatever the case may be. Do I know people that have worked for 10 years and became a W-2 millionaire? Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. I don't know. We ain't got no more comments, D. I don't know if it made sense to everyone. I don't know if they liked it or not, but episode 124 for a breakdown. You can go check it out. I even pulled up the companies. We kept a list of those companies that do contribute 25% to your 401k. Always contribute to your 401k. Get the match. A lot of people like, I don't need no contribution to my 401k. Give me my money and I'm going to go throw it in Bitcoin and I'm going to go buy XRP. Why can't you do both? Is my question. And another one is at the end of the day, it's your money. If you ain't figured out what to do with it, somebody else will. Get good financial management of your money. Get good financial understanding of how money works, how crypto works. Don't go blindly go invest in crypto. You know how many people got burned. Keep up with your wallets, your cold storage. Understand the codes. Stop letting anybody into y'all houses and stealing y'all cold storage. Right? I'm telling you, I've showed you where Linux is going, where infrastructure exists. Go make the money. Go make the money. I don't know. Is it bad to have Adobe on your resume? Is it bad? Is that a bad thing? I don't know. Y'all make it seem like it's a bad thing if you got Adobe on your resume. You guys make it seem like it's a bad thing if you worked at uh Dollar General in the IT department or Rite Aid or Walmart, or you worked at the Linux Foundation IT department, or you worked for the NFL, right? You work for the Chicago Tribune, you work for the AJC, you work for do you know the New York Times has a huge Linux infrastructure? Did you know that? They was hiring like crazy. Go work at Bloomberg. Nothing wrong with working for the New York Times. I'm just looking at some of their jobs that are not tech focused. A creative director for the New York Times, 170 to 220. A senior program counselor, the school of the New York Times, $20 an hour. The daily host, a hybrid in New York, 190 to 225. Security editor, partnerships and working in a sales area, 175 to 195. A senior project manager, 125. A writer for the morning, an associate manager, growth media strategy, program counselor, senior people analyst, a statistician, a journalist for podcast, video, senior video journalist for the New York Times. Those that are podcasters, here you go. Maybe you're struggling to get content out, but maybe you can help the New York Times. A finance editor, right? This is all on the New York Times. Temporary reporter, A story editor, talent acquisitions temporary, right? Senior tax manager, an opinion video. I don't know. Maybe that might be a part-time job, but it's paying 67 to 68,000, right? Yep, it is correct. Linux is prominent with the airlines, very much so. Very much so. You can just type in airlines and Linux terminals. Airlines use Linux based in flight entertainment systems that have enhanced security features to block cyber attacks. So you can see Linux terminals. Mission critical automation takes flight at Southwest Airlines. Look at who got the article out here. Red Hat. So Red Hat and Southwest, right? Alaska Airlines. So let's go back. I hope I don't have to sign in for this. Great. It's a 3-minute read. Technology plays a role increasing delivering exceptional service to its customers. Southwest run more than 4,400 flights a day across 140 airports, numbers that surge during peak travel times and continue to increase as the airline expands to new destinations. Let's see. Each airport can have a range of 25 to 100 routers and switches, and more flying hours means smaller maintenance windows. In turn, engineers have to wake up early to implement changes and then spend hours on documentation, making it feasible to only service a subset of these devices in a condensed time frame. So they use Red Hat Ansible automation platform to automate things to get up their switches. Automation is golden, so forth and so on. So there you go. RCSA, RCE working at your favorite spot, Southwest. So then we go Southwest airline careers, right? All right, let's go see what they got. I'm just gonna type in keywords here. Let's see. They look like they got technology. I'm just gonna type in Linux and see if anything just comes back with that. All right. I typed in Linux and I get a senior cloud DevOps engineer, a senior data scientist, a AI consultant. Um, I'm just looking for a senior ops engineer. Right? So that's what I'm pulling back, right? So you go check them out. The locations are here on the side of the cities. And it's the same. Delta uses OpenShift, Rosa, Red Hat OpenShift on AWS. So yeah. There are different roles that require you to travel. I mean, it depends on the role. There are travel in some roles just to go talk to clients, and then there's other roles that you're consistently just traveling. You can go look at HashiCorp. They have a lot of travel roles. If you want to go traveling, you can go look at Red Hat. You can go look at Dell, HP. Those engineers travel 90% of the time. So if you want to be away from your family and friends and just be living out of the suitcase in the hotel, have at it. You'll get frequent flyer miles and keep it pushing. You'll be going to little places you didn't even know exist. Have it. All right. I ran over my time for you all. You got the spreadsheet. Happy holidays. Peace.